Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, Shades of Neen, where we do beauty on a budget. Our aim here is to find cheap, good quality, affordable makeup for everyday use. Today we'll be doing a full face of collection makeup. I have recorded this before, so it isn't a first impressions. It was a couple weeks ago and I was really sick. I had a little bit of a cold and the whole video just didn't come out the way I wanted it to. So without further ado, let's get into it. So like I said, today we'll be reviewing some new collection makeup, and I've just combined it with some old products that I already have. So we basically have a full face. The only thing we are missing is some mascara, but that's fine. Today we'll be starting with the face. Like I said, it's not really a first impressions video for me, so I'll explain why I like some products and why I didn't. But firstly, we're going to start with this Primed and Ready primer, and it is a mattifying pore minimizing primer, and it has witch hazel in it, which is apparently supposed to be really soothing and calming for your skin. So I've only used it a couple of times just to test it, and honestly it is not my favorite. It seems to lift the foundation, so let's hope we get a better result today. So I'm just going to tap this into the areas where I have problems with my pores, and I only use a tiny little bit, but as you can see it does mattify the skin because I did put sunscreen and everything on today. So I'm just taking a little bit more and we'll put that on the forehead where I have some issues, and then on the chin, and I also seem to have some problems on my moustache area. I hope, well, let me just say this, I've changed my setup a little bit around just to avoid that echo that we had before. It was in a little nook in my room and unfortunately was echoing back and making weird sounds, so I've decided to do it from this side. And also I have now a viewfinder just above my camera, and obviously you can see the whole room, but let me know if you prefer the setup or if you prefer the white drape behind us. Okay, so that is the primer applied. So I've let the foundation sit for about a minute or so, and it still feels very slippery. So that's kind of why I think the foundation slips and slides, and it also lifts off, but I'll show you that now. But as you can see, it's quite mattifying and it has brought down a little bit of my redness. So for foundation, we have this Lasting Perfection Glow foundation because I didn't want to get a mattifying one, as I've said many times. This comes in 19 different shades, so there's one for everyone, and the shade I chose is called Toffee 12, and it is Probiotic Technology Dewy Finish Foundation. Like I said, I have used it before and I found that the foundation worked a lot better without this primer. So, and I hate it when brands do that. Like, you should actually have a cohesive primer for your foundation. So that was a little bit of a letdown, but for once the shade actually suits me a little bit better. So I've just done 2 pumps on my hand, and again, I've done this before and it applies a lot better with a sponge rather than a brush. So I'm just going to grab a little mirror here and we'll start on the cheeks and just start working that into the skin. As you can see, it is a really good match. You can't even see where my skin starts and finishes, so that was awesome. And it's not settling in any of my pores, which is great. But I think the problem is that it's not really a buildable foundation. If you go on top of it, it will just start lifting everything off. Okay, so this is the side with the foundation on. As you can see, it does slightly emphasize my pores, but I do have big pores, so that can't be helped. Also, it is sticking a little bit to my little fine hairs I have. And then this is my side without it, and as you can see, the pores aren't as enlarged as they are with the foundation on. So not the best, but the shade is amazing. Look at it, you can't even see a difference between the two sides. I'm getting really confused with this viewfinder because it's backwards, so I'm like, which side am I working on? So I've learnt my lesson, and we will not try and build this up. We'll leave it as it is because it's actually looking really, really good. Look at that. So dewy, and I don't know, I just love this finish. Let me know if any of you guys have tried this foundation. I've seen a couple of reviews and people are raving about it, but I haven't seen anyone use this primer, so I think it must be the primer that's not really gelling with the foundation. Next, we're going to go in with the concealer. I'm sure you all have seen it on my channel numerous times. It's the Lasting Perfection Concealer, 16-hour wear, and it is smudge proof, budge proof, and transfer proof. Conceals dark circles and blemishes for a flawless 16-hour wear, and it's water resistant. Just going under the eye where I have my dark circles. I also think that the shade isn't correct for me. I went a bit too light. I mean, I was just starting out, so I didn't really know what was appropriate. I just knew that I had to get one shade lighter. So just blending that in. I am noticing, I'm not sure if you can see, but you can see over here the foundation is starting to lift already, and also on my nose it's not sitting very well. So I'm 100% sure that it's the primer now that I've used the foundation on its own and the primer on its own. The primer you can use during the day, I guess, as like mattifying agent, but honestly it doesn't sit well with the foundation. Okay, let's zoom you out again. Also, my dad's working from home, so if you can hear a man screaming in the background, that's him. And there's also people working, I think, at the neighbors, and it's really, really loud, so I'm sorry. That is the concealer done. Like I said, I'm not a fan of it. It's very drying. It doesn't really, like I said, it doesn't budge. So you'll be blending for ages, and sometimes it will just dry on your skin and it will go nowhere. So not my favorite for sure. So I don't really want to set under my eyes because it's been cracking a lot lately, and I think it's me like adjusting to the weather here and whatever. So I've been creasing under the eyes a lot. So I don't think I'm going to fully set that. I'm just going to set the rest of the face though. We're just grabbing a big fluffy brush. I'm going to use the, I opened it without knowing, the Collection Lasting Perfection Sheer Loose Powder, which gives you a matte finish. Not my favorite, but I've mentioned this before, it's not my favorite product. And also it's messy, like all the powder just collects in, all the powder just collects in there no matter how you store it. I've tried to like push it back by lifting the stopper, and it just ends up like this. So I find it really messy. The powder is also really, really fine, so it's like flour, baby powder, talc, but I don't know, it's just not my favorite, to be honest. So I've just got some on my sponge, on my brush, and I'm just going to dab it on my hand like that just to get the excess off, and then we will blot that on the face. Try not to swipe because I know the foundation's gonna lift and honestly that makes me mad. It just makes you not want to do the look at all. So now that the powder's all laid down, I'm gonna try and dust most of that off. Not that I can because it looks quite powdery. And then I'm just gonna go in with my sponge and I'm just going to dab it all over the face just to pick up any excess powder. Next, we're gonna jump into brows. And I've had this for about 6 months, maybe less, 5 months, and all the writing's already come off, even though it just went into my makeup bag. But I don't know what it was called exactly. I think it's called Incredible Brow by Collection. that is what it looks like. It is quite a thick tip and it is really, really waxy. I've used it a few times. The color is a bit dark and harsh, so just brushing my brows into position. I also don't have a brow gel, so I will be using a different one, but I'll just do that off camera. Then I'm just going to fill in my brows. Honestly, it is really, really pigmented, but it's too pigmented for me, I think. Look at that, it makes it look blockish. And they're not even. Okay, so for eyes, I got this Malibu Waves eye palette, and it's new from collection. Like I've said before, they had loads of like neutral palettes, and like, I don't know, the quality wasn't great and the packaging wasn't great, so I thought this was really interesting because it was nice and colorful, and you know me, I'm super girly, so I chose this one. They also did have, which I'll put on the screen, they did have a Sahara Dunes eye palette and the Ibiza Sunset palette and the Parisian Pinks palette, all in this range, but I chose this one because it looked the most appealing for me. So like I said, I have used this before in a video, but it just, I'll show you. Let's do some swatches. There are 8 pans, and the shade starting on this side is called Beaching, Soft Top, Happy Hour, Lagoon, Cali, Road Trip, Scuba, and Surf's Out. So I'll do a couple of swatches, and the mattes are really nice. So let's do the mattes first. They are a bit powdery, but they all in all look pretty good. So that is what they look like, and I just swatched these three over here, and that's not bad at all. Look at them, the payoff is quite nice. Like everybody says, you can't always trust swatches. Then we have the shimmers, so I'll show you this. It is really rough, really hard, and it feels like it has like a layer on top, like a waxy layer, and mind you, I have already used it, but look at that. It's so powdery and the reflect isn't that great. So, but I think today I'm wearing like a soft pale pink, and you can't really notice, so I'm gonna go for the purples. Okay, so just grabbing a fluffy blending brush. The first shade we're gonna dip into is this lilac-y color here, and we're gonna use that as our first transition color. So I don't know if you can see, but there's a lot of kickback in the palette, so, and also tapping it off, most of the pigment falls off. It's all over me. And then just concentrating that in the crease like we always do, and we'll blend it straight through the crease over here, or where your brow bone is. And once the color's nicely dispersed, we'll just blend that up. I know you usually don't do that with colors, but I'm not going to use all the shades in the palette, so I guess that's okay. So that payoff is quite nice. It does look more powdery on camera than it actually is. Next, just grabbing a smaller, fluffier brush, which is a little bit more precise, we're gonna dip into this deeper purple shade over here. And again, super powdery and a lot of kickback. Just tapping some of that off. And we're gonna concentrate that, as always, on the outer third of the eye. But like, look, I'm trying to mix these shades and it's just lifting the other shade and making it quite patchy. So I have found, and there's quite a bit of fallout, I have found cheaper palettes that honestly perform better than this. You know, this is our aim, isn't it, to find quality products that actually work. So I'm just going to grab that first fluffy brush again and just blend those two together. The other shade has practically disappeared. Let me just check how much these palettes retail for. £5? Is it worth it? I guess. Like, if you really like the shades, I would go out and get it, but I mean, it isn't something that you necessarily need. I mean, these shades can be found in some other palettes, but it is better than the Makeup Revolution palette for sure. So next I'm just going to grab a more flat domed brush, and we're going to dip into this purple shade over here. So my experience with this shade before was not very good. It's showing on the brush, but it doesn't really layer very nicely on the eye. So just placing that again on the outer edge of the eye, just to deepen that all up. And I'm just patting it on because I want a lot of payoff, but I don't know, it's not as pigmented as it is in the pan. So I'm just gonna dip in once more and take that up into the crease just on the outer edge. Then lastly, we're gonna dip into this purpley pinky shimmer, and we're gonna put that on a sponge applicator. And honestly, like, big pieces of it fall out. I don't know why, but I really didn't enjoy that. So just tapping off that excess, we're gonna place that in the inner third of the eye. Look, what is that? Just gonna dip in with my finger and try and build up that shimmer, but nothing is happening. It's all staying on my finger. I'm just going to pick some of that up on my sponge applicator again, and we're going to spritz it with a little bit of setting spray and try again. Nothing. I'm just going to look down and try and build that up again because there is so much fallout now. That is horrible. So the last time I was sick and my eyes were all puffy and stuff, and I just didn't enjoy it, and I thought it was because I was sick, so I wasn't giving it the benefit of the doubt, but it's a horrible palette. So I'm just gonna grab this lighter shade here, and again, a very, very powdery. Look what I've done to that pan, and it's still like nothing. So I'm just going to pick some of that lighter shade up, tap off some of that excess, and we're going to place that on the tear duct for an inner corner highlight. And again, nothing. I've seen some TikToks where like Superdrug is like promoting these palettes, and honestly, it's so not worth it. Look at it, there's nothing there. So I'm going to try and take a little bit more and place it here under the brow bone. And what do we have? Nothing. I definitely would not recommend that palette. I could have done without for sure. There were some other options, but I'm assuming the formula is exactly the same, so that's a no for that eyeshadow palette. I'm just going to complete the other eye off camera, add some liner and mascara and some lashes, and then we'll come back and we'll complete the rest of the face. Moving on, the foundation doesn't look so great anymore, does it? Like, my chin looks red for some reason, but no, honestly, I don't even want to do this anymore. It's like so frustrating, but luckily we have something good coming. I bought this upside down. I got this Gorgeous Glow face palette, and it has a bronzer, 2 blushes and a highlight. The description is, the Gorgeous Glow face palette is all you need to create a defined contour and a pop of color to the cheeks and get a glow highlight. I'm not 100% sure if this comes in any different shades, as I just chose this one because I really liked that. Don't know if you can see it, the peach shade. So let's just check. Okay, so it looks like they have another one. This was £5, by the way. I don't know if it's any different. It has a pink case. It looks exactly the same, so I'm not sure if they have different ones for different skin tones, but I chose this one, like I said, because I like that peachy blush. So grabbing my contour brush, we're gonna dip into this bronzing shade. Don't know if that was in frame. Into this bronze shade over here. We're gonna apply this to the cheek contour, so right in over here where you have your cheekbone, and we'll just work that upwards. As you can see, it's quite a dark tone, so I don't see this going with any lighter skin tone than mine. Then we're just gonna grab a bigger fluffy brush and I'm going to buff the cheekbones out. But just remember, wherever you place the product, that's gonna be where the darkest payoff is. As you can see there, I've dispersed the product, but the line is still remaining where I first placed it. So just be careful with your placement. Honestly, this review is not going as planned. I did originally buy everything and thought it was so pretty, but honestly I'm so disappointed. I actually don't even want to post this. I think I look horrible, but I mean, not everything can be great. Also, my eyelashes seem really uneven. Honestly guys, I'm so disappointed. Like, I like this face palette. I like this face palette a lot actually, but I don't know, today everything is just going wrong. Next, we're just gonna go in with the highlight in the palette, which is this one over here. And it does look a bit light, but I thought it looked really nice on the face the last time, but the lighting is a lot different here, so I'm not sure if it will be any different. So just placing that on the eye points of the face, you can see all the kickback in that, and on the side over here, and a little bit on the forehead. So that is really pretty. I still like that. I thought it might look a bit light, but I really do like that. Next, we're going to go in with the blush, and I'm going to start with this pinky shade over here. Just dipping my blush brush in there, tapping the excess, and we'll place that as usual between the bronzer and the highlight and overlap that over that highlight. I really do like this. It's really pigmented, as you can see, and it's like a nice natural flush, and the bronzer, the highlight and the blush all go together pretty well. And then just using the same brush, I'm gonna dip into this corally orange color and tap off most of that. And we're just gonna apply that to the apples on the cheeks here. Yeah, I really like that. Really like that. Next, lastly actually, we have this Velvet Kiss Moisturizing Lip Cream by Collection, and it's a bit of a strange shade. It's like a pinky mauve. Sorry about all the glue on my fingers. And I have put some lip balm on, but it's mostly absorbed, and we're just gonna apply that without any lip liner. It does feel like a liquid lipstick. It's quite sheer, isn't it? And it feels like there's like no product in here. That looks horrible. So I'm just gonna try and fix that up, and I'm gonna just use this. I always use this as a lip liner. It's actually the brow pencil. I think it looks better than the lip product by itself. It was really horrible, me no likey. So I'm just going to take my hair down and then we'll do final thoughts. Okay guys, so this is our finished look, doing basically a full face of collection makeup. The only thing we didn't have, like I said, was liner, mascara, eyelashes and the setting spray, but other than that it is our full face of collection makeup. So guys, final thoughts. Like I was saying throughout the whole video, I was telling you what I did like, what I didn't like, and why I didn't like it. So in summary, I really did like the face palette. It's, like I said, the bronzer is a bit dark, but it worked really nice once you blended everything out. I really did like the foundation because firstly the shade matched me, so that was a bonus, but it really didn't go well with the primer. The primer is silicone based and you can feel it, so all your makeup slips and slides on it as they do with all silicone primers, so avoid that. The lip product, definite no, in line with that primer. It's nothing velvet about it. It's, I don't know, it's so sheer as well. The formula doesn't feel very moisturizing, so I would give that a miss as well. What else did we get? Oh, like I've said in previous videos, the powder is horrible, the concealer is horrible, and this palette is a definite no. Don't even waste your money. Maybe a different shade palette might work. I don't know, they're pretty okay with neutrals, but the shimmers were a proper letdown. I did, however, also buy this glitter glue, and it seems okay. It does have latex in it, so it's really difficult to come off, and it just stays, and then when you wear makeup again it like hooks to that, so no. And that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did like it. Let me know what your experiences were with the collection. So most of these products are new to me and new to their collection. So let me know what you guys thought, because honestly it was so disappointing. I didn't enjoy this tutorial at all, or the review. This was not fun. Normally you can just create something and find the good in everything, but this one we definitely didn't. But if you haven't already, please subscribe and follow me on TikTok and on Instagram if you'd like. But other than that, that's it for me guys. Hope you all have a great evening. Bye.